Hello class, this is your host, Teddy Worldsevelt, and on this Weekly Americana, we're going to cover the Apollo program. Now, you may ask yourself, what exactly is the Apollo program? It is in fact one of the most important stories in American history, and the better you understand the Apollo program, the better you will understand the United States. The Apollo program was actually named after the Greek god of the sun, Apollo. The reason why they named the program after the Greek sun god was because Apollo encouraged humanity to go out and explore. The Apollo program was designed and built to send an American to the moon and back. The idea of going to the moon and back was a revolutionary idea, something that many people thought was impossible. The Apollo program was created in the space race of the Cold War. The Cold War was a struggle between the United States and the Soviet Union. Both the United States and the Soviet Union wanted to be the first in space. The Soviets beat the Americans to putting a man in space, but the Americans were determined to put the first man on the moon. On September 12, 1962, President John F. Kennedy, the 35th President of the United States, says that, quote, "We choose to go to the moon in this decade and do the other things, not because they are easy, but because they are hard." John F. Kennedy was an ambitious new president and was determined to have America achieve even greater heights of fame and glory. The Apollo program was going to help make John F. Kennedy's dream a reality by using the Apollo program, which used a very large rocket to carry a command, service, and lunar module up into space. This is how Americans would reach the moon. Being the first to do anything always requires bravery and skill, and the men of the Apollo 11 mission would be no different. Fortunately for them, they had an army of scientists, mathematicians, and engineers behind them, making sure that their mission would be a spectacular success. The Apollo 11 mission launched on July 16, 1969. The module was carried by a Saturn V rocket. The rocket had enough jet fuel to get the module into space and on its way to the moon. Neil Armstrong, Michael Collins, and Buzz Aldrin were the crew members of Apollo 11. These brave Americans set forth to travel and explore a very new and distant land. The Apollo 11 mission landed on the moon on July 24, 1969, 8 days after blasting off from Earth. Michael Collins stayed in the command module while Neil Armstrong and Buzz Aldrin landed on the moon in the lunar module. Neil Armstrong was the first man to walk on the moon. He famously said, "That's one small step for man, one giant leap for mankind." And Buzz Aldrin would be the second man to walk on the moon. Neil Armstrong and Buzz Aldrin spent 21 hours and 36 minutes on the moon's surface. After a quick rest, they blasted off. While on the moon, they placed the American flag on the moon's surface. The Apollo 11 command module splashed down in the Pacific Ocean on July 24th, 1969, just under 1,000 nautical miles southwest of Hawaii. The USS Hornet, an aircraft carrier, was there to pick up the crew. The crew of Apollo 11 was greeted back to the United States and the world with a hero's welcome. And now you know the history of the Apollo program. Looking forward to seeing you again next time. I have been your host, Teddy Worldsevelt.